What is up, all my fellow Turbos? This is Steve Turbo, and I'm here today to talk to you about my very first day with the brand new mobile game, Pokemon Go. Now, I think it's safe to say that all of us who grew up with Pokemon, be they new or old, have been anxiously awaiting the arrival of Pokemon Go, the mobile game that promised a real-life Pokemon-type adventure/capturing experience to where you could go out in the real world and capture Pokemon. We all have been wanting this forever. Now, I'm going to start my story by saying that I was there, I grew up with Pokemon. I was there when it hit the States and it became the biggest thing. Now keep in mind, this was before the days of the internet. This was, when internet access in most households was relatively uncommon. Yeah, much like color TV back in, say, the 60s and 70s, internet wasn't common back then. So, I remember watching Pokemon every day after school, playing the games, collecting the toys, collecting the cards. Me and Mojo were the biggest nerds for Pokemon you could imagine. And I remember I would go outside and I would just, again, I was a kid, I was like 8 or 9 or 10, I can't even remember. But I would always be like, oh, how cool would it be if a Pikachu popped out right before me right now, that'd be the coolest thing, that little Steve Turbo, he always wanted to go on a Pokemon adventure. That was like the dream, to go out and about and catch Pokemon, everywhere I went. And, as time went on, the games got more advanced. I still play them to this day. I'm 29 years old now. So, when I saw Pokemon Go, there was a little part of me on the inside that just squealed with delight when I saw the game, and it was just amazing. So, let's talk about my first day with Pokemon Go. So the app popped while me and my coworker were sitting there anxiously awaiting for it to go. We kept trying to install it, and it wouldn't go. It kept saying, it's not available in your country. It's not available in your country. Finally, right as we're closing the store, he's telling me, Steve, it popped, it's up, let's go, let's go. So we download the app, and as we're leaving the store, we're fumbling around, we've got our phones out, and we people are like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, we're playing Pokemon Go. And, my coworkers, the ones that were still left that were watching, they were like, whoa, that's really cool. Because they know Pokemon, but they aren't super up to know on certain, games that are coming out for it. So we're out in the parking lot, we're catching a Caterpie, and it's the greatest thing, I catch my Squirtle and he's sitting on my workbench at work, and it's so cool, and I don't know how to describe it other than it's a childhood dream come true. So, cut to when I get home. James is at home, he's already downloaded the game, he's playing it through his cracked iPhone screen, and he's caught his Bulbasaur, and he's like, hey, you want to go outside with me so we can hunt down Pokemon? Now, keep in mind, the servers were a little unstable at this point, but we went outside. Sure enough, there were some Pokemon out there. There were Pidgeys and Rattatas and some things. And that night, now this is the coolest thing, we didn't walk away with just Pidgeys, Rattatas, Weedles, and whatnot. We actually discovered a Cubone chilling out in our living room. We found a Zubat in our laundry room. We found a Venonat chilling in the corner of our spare bedroom. Just this experience was already a telling of what was to come. Now, I had a day off the very next day, and so did James, and so did Mojo. And I said, yo, we're going on a fucking Pokemon journey. Cut to Mojo texting me, sadly saying his old Galaxy S3 cannot play Pokemon Go. I wasn't about to let that happen. So, cut to the next day. Me and James get up bright and early. We get in my car, we go out, we hit up a bunch of the Pokestops on the way, and we're going into the parking lots of different stores, we're finding Pokemon. We found a Pidgey, a Rattata, and I want to say a Metapod while sitting in the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. We hit a couple of Pokestops on the way home, and we actually went exploring. We went exploring around our town, and we went down some roads that we've never been down before. Now, let me start by saying that the bad areas in my town are few and far between, so it's really hard to turn a corner and go to a bad part of town. So don't worry, we didn't wander into any rough spots. We know where they are, so we stayed away. But yeah, we explored around for about an hour. We claimed a few gems in the name of Team Valor. Team Valor. You Team Instinct and you Team Mystic hoodlums. We're coming for your gems. But regardless, we went around and we caught just tons of Pokemon while we were out. And it was so much fun. It was just so much fun hitting up all these little spots in town. James, we would be driving slow through a parking lot and you'd be like, Steve, stop. There's something over here. I'm like, what? And I'm just stop the car and I'm like, what's here? Oh my gosh. So, cue to me going and picking up Mojo. He's, kind of like, man, how much is a new phone? I really need a new phone, and blah, 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 blah. So we stopped by Best Buy. We get him a new phone because he was well due for one. I mean, he had a Galaxy S3, for God's sake. We bumped him up to a brand new phone. He's able to play Pokemon Go. So finally I say, hey man, you want to go down to the island? We have this little spot where we live called Solomon's Island, and it's a very historic / tourist spot where we live. There's a big long boardwalk, it's right by the water, and we knew there's a ton of history there. There's a lot of stuff, so we said, hey man, there's probably a bunch of water Pokemon down here, there's probably tons of Pokestops we can hit, so let's go check it out. So we finally get down to the boardwalk, and sure enough, the very first Pokemon that Mojo catches is a Charmeleon? That's right, he picked Charmander as his starter Pokemon, and he catches a Charmeleon out in the wild as his first Pokemon. So, again, now, let me start by saying that the Solomon's Island where we live is very, very big. It's a really nice big wraparound. I'd say you could probably cover most of it in about an hour or so if you're taking your time. But there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of little spots. So we're walking along, and we're going down each and every little road, and he just kept saying, dude, here's an Abra, here's a Machop, here's a Pikachu, here's a Psyduck, there's a Dratini around here somewhere. We never found the fucking Dratini. There was a Dratini somewhere on that island, and we could not find it. He caught a Squirtle. My phone battery was dead because, Pokemon Go eats your battery. It eats it up unless you have battery save options on and whatnot. So this was awesome, and I'll tell you why. Because again, me and Mojo, we grew up with Pokemon, and just going down there and us both walking this entire island and finding all these Pokemon, we walked away with 50 different Pokemon, man. It was just insane. It was absolutely insane. I wish I had discovered the picture feature a little earlier, because I would have definitely taken pictures and uploaded them into this video for you guys. But going down there and catching all those Pokemon and hitting all those Pokestops and doing all that stuff and just being outside felt amazing. Now, I haven't told you guys this, but recently I've been on an extreme diet and fitness plan. So this app came just in time because I've been adopting a more active lifestyle. Whether you can see it or not yet, I'm not sure, but I've already lost about 10 pounds, so this really helped. So going around and walking on that island was really awesome, and it was hot as hell yesterday too, but it just made the experience all the more better. And we were just talking and theorizing and everything about, all the different types of Pokemon we could find in different areas. We communicated with people that we are friends with that are telling us all about the different Pokemon in their region. We were talking about how you find legendaries, and apparently there are shinies in this game. It was just living that experience with friends and sharing it, and a friend saying, dude, there's this over here, there's this Pokemon over here, and just experiencing that. We met up with some friends that were, on our way back from our first trip around the island. We met up with some friends who were starting their first trip on the island. We were like, yeah, if you start down there, we found a Pikachu down there, and a Meowth, and an Abra, and all this stuff down there. And they're like, oh, cool. Not only that, we saw some normal nature too. We saw some ducks, fish, all sorts of stuff down there. But this was just so awesome, and we saw other people with their phones down there too that look like they don't go out all that much, so we were like, Pokemon Go. But that's the beautiful part about this experience, is that it's bringing people outside, and it's making them more active. It's, it's a healthy thing. So Pokemon Go, the best way I can describe Pokemon Go for you guys is that it's not just a game, it's an experience. It's something that you get to go and is best shared with friends, I will say. It is definitely an experience that is best shared with your friends. So why don't you plan a Pokemon Go field trip? Go to a little spot where you know it's safe. That's the biggest thing, guys. Do Steve Turbo a favor and monitor your surroundings while you're out and about. Don't use Pokemon Go in your car. If you're the only one driving and you have no one with you, do not try and use Pokemon Go in your car, please. I don't care what's there. I don't. It's not worth getting into an accident, potentially getting yourself killed or anything like that. Monitor your surroundings. I don't care where the Pokestops are. Do not go into a bad neighborhood. Please don't do that. Don't call it, and just kind of look up. Every once in a while, make sure you're not running into people or getting in people's way or standing in the middle of the street or anything like that. Just be safe while you're using Pokemon Go. But this was just such an amazing experience, and I really wanted to share it with you guys because I'm just absolutely giddy about how fulfilling it is, and I want you all to go out and experience it. So, server issues be damned, it's still an amazing experience, and it's great to share with your friends. Pokemon Go is everything I wanted it to be, and it certainly does not disappoint. Now, do you need to use the AR feature to maximize your enjoyment? Well, that's up to you. But honestly, I think I played the game more with VR off than I did on. Sure, it's really cool to see Pokemon out in the wild, and they do have like a little shadow beneath them indicating that they're really there, but ultimately that's going to drain your battery super fast, and I don't necessarily recommend it. Unless you see like a really cool shot of like a Dratini in the water or something like that, I don't particularly recommend it. But yeah, guys, I mean, this was just something I really wanted to share with all of you, and I really hope that you all are enjoying Pokemon Go too. So how about you guys let me know about your Pokemon Go experience in the comments below. Have you caught anything really cool? Have you gone on really cool adventures with your friends? What are some neat stops in your area? Let me know about them in the comment section below. Also, tell me about any unique Pokemon you may have found in your area. I would like to know about it. So guys, if you like this video and you'd like to see more Pokemon Go related discussions in the future, please leave a like on this video if you would, and also subscribe to the Hyper Arcade Turbo Bros, won't you please? Thank you all for watching this video, and we will see you next time. Happy hunting, trainers!